What's up, shitholes? I'm back. After ages. So 2017 was a year, wasn't it? Could say it sucks. Could say it was cool. I don't care. What I do care about is that there were at least 10 movies this year that were great. I'm gonna list them. Do this. Let's start with number 10. Napping Princess. Or it's got some kind of really weird Japanese name. A very, very nice anime film. Really, really nice artwork, good performances. Generally, just a blast. Anywho, on to number 9. Spidey Homecoming. Spidey Homecoming is possibly my favourite Spider-Man movie. Spidey Homecoming is a pretty much pitch-perfect first Spider-Man movie. It's clever in that it just assumes we're familiar with some amount of Spider-Man's backstory. I mean, after this being the second reboot of Spider-Man, we already kind of know how it goes, how it works. And so, it makes sense that we just go, yeah, we assume you know about this, let's just get the story going. Which it does very, very well indeed. The villain in this, I would actually like to give particular props to, for not actually being some kind of nebulous, super powerful thing. He's just a dude in a suit. Which makes it really interesting seeing a small dude in a suit fighting a dude in a slightly bigger suit. It's all very small scale and refreshingly unflashy. Particularly with the finale to the movie, which just featured Spider-Man trying to make a plane not crash into Manhattan, whilst the other guy just doesn't care about the plane, is just trying to steal the plane, and the two are fighting each other for the plane. It's just that tight, small scaleness that really works, I think. And then there's also the car scene. Boy, howdy was that scene tense. Number 8. John Wick Chapter 2. With a pencil. With a fucking pencil. Number 7. Florida Project. Another smaller release this year about a, how's a good way to put it? Trashy motel mom. A trashy motel mom and her tearaway kid, and it's all filmed from the kid's perspective, so the camera is always low down all the time, and it's really weird and interesting for that. And throughout its runtime, you develop a close, intimate knowledge of these characters and their relationships, and you see Trash Mom just slowly devolving into just desperate squalor, whilst her kid remains relatively unfazed, and it's touching seeing the kid at the very end just like screaming and running to try to get to her mother as like her mother's arrested. Spoilers, by the way, I guess. But still, that was some touching shit. It's touching. Number 6. Baby Driver. This movie was a lot of fun. From a brilliant soundtrack to some really, really good driving sequences to Jamie Foxx hamming it up as this crazy lunatic murderer guy. Ansel Elgort as the mysterious and quiet baby. And, of course, Kevin Spacey's wonderful performance in this. It's just a pity that, unfortunately, this movie's going to have his reputation attached to it now. Oh. But that said, dude delivers an amazing performance. Everybody delivers an amazing performance. And like, come on, gunfights set to music where the guns fire at the same time as the guitars play, and like dudes get impaled on spikes. It's great. It's really cool. Also, this movie makes the word bananas sound threatening. Bananas. Number 5, Wonder. Wonder is a really nice film about a boy with a facial disfigurement who learns to make friends and eventually ends up having the whole school kind of like him and makes everybody's lives that bit better because of his continued optimism and general zest for life. Set against this is his sister Olivia, who's going through her own struggles. His mother is having her own issues. You see Augie's own friend, and there's a thing between them that's touching. There's also Olivia's friend who's been distant and comes back to her, and you see like friendships, relationships, things being repaired and coming together, and it's all so very, very lovely. It's just a wonder to watch. Nah, see what I did there? I'm going to pretend I meant to do that. Number 4, Life. Or, at number 4, Alien. Because Life is basically Alien. But I say that in the nicest possible way, because Life seems to truly understand what made the original Alien great. Big menacing alien threat, bunch of people, isolated, monster starts picking them off one by one, and it's gory and it's horrifying. Claustrophobic environments, great sound design, all of these things just come together to make Life a derivative film. Certainly, it's not super original, it's not super out there. It is, however, a fantastic execution of concept. And it's that execution alone that lifts it up to number 4 spot. That and the design of the monster. Because let's talk about Calvin. Fuck Calvin. At number 3. Oh boy, here come the comments. Star Wars Last Jedi. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. There were great things in it. Like the bit where he fires the lightsaber through Snoke's body and then forces it towards him, and then they fight back to back, and then Kylo Ren's just like, no, I'm gonna be on the dark side, and Ren's like, what? What are you on about? We just fought against these guys like seconds ago, and he's like, I'm doubling down on the dark side. And then Luke Skywalker shows up, and he's all like, I am a god ghost thing, and then they try and blast him, but then nothing happens, and Poe Dameron does the thing where he spins his shit around, and he shoots at people, and then spins it around again, and shoots at the thing, and she hyperspaces a cruiser into a giant space battle thing, and it's just awesome. The only reason it's not higher is because, yeah, I agree with a lot of other people, the casino thing dragged it back, and Rose did a stupid. Because I guess the power of moist seats is stronger, I guess. But, that said, gorgeous visuals, fantastic sound design, wonderful moments, all the action I could ever want out of it, ramping up, tension that ramps up throughout the whole thing. It's great. It's a blast. At number 2, Logan. I remember when the trailer came out and this had Johnny Cash playing over it. And it was all, everything's terrible, it's all the worst. And there's like deserts and everyone's old now. And I thought this seems pretty grim. It seems odd. I really wasn't going to pay it much attention because, well, I've not paid a lot of attention to X-Men for years now. But my friend convinced me to go see it, and I'm glad he did. Because Logan is amazing. Logan has either very large testes or very large ovaries, depending on how you favour. Either way, it has very large reproductive organs. Because Logan has the large reproductive organs to kill Professor X and Logan permanently. It is the definitive end to a character that we have been waiting for throughout this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe and the DC Cinematic Universe. It's a sense of finality that has been lacking from superhero movies for the last 10 or so years. Just the thought that it ends. Like, it seems weird that I'm saying this like it's a novelty, but it just ends nicely. Its villain isn't all that great. I can't really remember his name. I knew he had like a cyber hand. But that really doesn't matter. Because it's the relationship between Logan and Laura that really, really carries this movie. We see Laura go from this angry girl that just doesn't talk to anybody to being part of a sort of new breed of X-Men, and we're all just running off. Brutal action sequences, blood, gore, everywhere. Really sells me on it. And swear. I never thought I'd say this, but the swear makes it better. After having Logan and Professor X effing and jeffing everywhere, it seems weird to look at the old X-Men and have them all talking PG. This movie took some gutsy new directions and paid off in just about every respect. I have a huge amount of respect for everybody who worked on Logan. The cinematography is gorgeous. The direction is fantastic. All the performances are on point. The sound design is great. Gonna give it a little bit of a... gonna walk it back a little tiny bit for the fact that the Dolby Atmos track is sadly a little bit lacking. But that's tiny, tiny, tiny potatoes. Logan is pretty much flawless. Go see Logan. Which brings me to number 1. Damn t-shirt. Oh, this hasn't dried yet. That's the worst. Blade Runner 2049. It's great. Really don't know what else to say about Blade Runner 2049 except see it, if you haven't already. Like, Blade Runner 2049 is what I regard to be the pretty much a perfect sequel. It doesn't hobby off the first one. It doesn't treat it like a crutch. Neither does it treat the first one with any sort of disrespect. And in fact, if you watch the original Blade Runner, preferably Final Cut, there is a very certain mood that will come over you. Or at least comes over me whenever I watch it. It's almost like slipping into a warm blanket. But instead of it being a warm blanket of cuddles and snuggles and everything being wonderful, it's a warm blanket of everything being awful. But it's just kind of cozy. It's like cozy awfulness. And I got that feeling within about 20 minutes of the movie. And watching it, it's just sit down like, that's the feeling. Yes, that's it. This is gonna be good. Does some wonderful things. Like, for a start, Kay is a replicant. It's cut and dry. What they do with the replicants in this one is really clever. It was a great idea to have the protagonist just straight up be a replicant in this. The action sequences in it, like in the first, are frenetic and crunchy and grounded. The gunfights are short and just violent. There is very, very little glamour in all of this. Yet there is absolutely stunning visuals throughout. And of course, let's not forget Ryan Gosling's gorgeous face. The music is on point, having ghosts and echoes and tiny little tributes and bits and bobs from the original score coming through it, whilst also giving you weird and violent sounds from deep and unsettling kind of choral noises to big, loud, siren-like noises towards the end. They go, whoa, whoa, and like wonderful, wonderful performances from everybody involved. A story that got better for me on the second viewing than it was on the first viewing, and little details all around. And to top it off, a very interesting look at a potential future, or at least an alternative future now, where the original Blade Runner had this really dark and just completely fucked universe. Like, everything is just fucked. There's like flames coming up the top of buildings, it's constantly raining, everything is terrible. Blade Runner 2049, everything is still terrible, but you can definitely see how it's advanced. I don't really think I've ever really seen a sci-fi do that. I've never seen the future of an alternate future before. And it's really interesting to see this continuation of this alternative future as was presented in Blade Runner. And Ryan Gosling's gorgeous face. And that's about it, I guess. There's probably some honourable mentions in there somewhere, and I'll get to some like awards and stuff. Probably gonna do some awards and stuff. But until then,